So your backstory. I want to know how you kind of got into
All right.
jiu-jitsu.
Well, I started in Taekwondo, and
Yes.
I was the only student in the class, and I had one black belt. My teacher or sensei or whatever you call him, and he was kind of a little overweight guy. And then all of a sudden, another guy showed up. He's like, "Hey, I do this, but it was a different. I was Chang Mui Kwan Taekwondo, and he was
Okay.
Duck Mui Kwan. He was, which is, I guess they're pretty damn close. So I was like, I don't even know what any of those are. But
Right.
I just learned a Chang Mui Kwan so I
Yeah.
could tell people what I did.
Yeah,
I was like,
bless
"Oh."
you.
Yeah. So then this other guy came in, and he was bigger yet. And I was just like, for a fitness thing, I was just like, this seems like there's a lot of big guys in Taekwondo. And I was just like, so we were doing it, and it's not very fun doing a class with two black belts because they're like, in Taekwondo, you do all katas and stuff, and you're going up and down the gym and doing this and that.
Yep.
And then she's like, you want to do some sparring? And I was like, with who? Like, you two guys that are way bigger than me, you're just gonna that know what you're doing.
Gonna lambaste me.
Yeah, so we kind of did some stuff, but it was cool because they also did weapons. So you started with a bow staff. So side note, I'm pretty good with a bow staff. If any gangs out there want me,
When they take our guns away, I can do the bow staff.
that was a Napoleon Dynamite reference. But yeah, they did the starts with a bow staff, and then you go into the them chuckos.
Oh,
but
yeah.
but he made you learn all of it. So you had to learn all the bow staff before you moved on to the nunchucks.
Oh, I
and you had
got
to
you.
learn all the nunchucks before you move on to the Ninja Turtles. They had that one with
Sai?
the Sai. Yep.
Yeah.
Then we could learn that, and then he did sword too, which I would have been
Okay.
thought would have been pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But I would have had to learn all them other weapons before we get to the sword, and it's just like I don't know if I had that much time.
How old were you when you started that? Ish.
18, 19 years old,
Okay.
probably. I was just out of high school.
Gotcha.
The girl I was dating at the time, her dad was a black belt in Taekwondo too, and he's just like, hey, I want to check out some Taekwondo, and I thought it was a good bonding thing.
Want to do karate in the garage with me?
Yeah, bonding thing with
Do we just become best friends?
yeah the father-in-law, if you will. But then that obviously didn't work, and then I kind of stayed going a little bit. Me and the girl didn't work, so then kept going still, and then I talked one of my buddies into going, and he was Hank Steffes, shout out. He was a wrestler all through high school, and he's a really good wrestler. And he came, and he's like, "This is stupid."
Oh no.
I was like, how? I thought I didn't know if it was just me or I was like,
how else am I supposed to become a ninja?
yeah,
Like,
because
this
then I kind of asked my sensei. I was like, "So what about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?" And he's like, "Well, they got to get you to the ground first." He's like, "Well, that's what." He's like, "I teach you to stand up."
Yeah.
Because then they got to get within to take you down. And I was like, well, "Just humor. What if they do take you down?" And at the time, he rolls back to his back and he puts up frames like this. He goes, "Get past me," and I just went, "You're right." And then I started doing jiu-jitsu, and I was like, "I'll get right past you." And I was like, that's not a thing. But I didn't know at the time, and I was just like, "Oh, it's cool." And then, like I said, my buddy came. He's like, "Yeah, this is kind of crap." He's like, "You ever heard of jiu-jitsu?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've heard murmurs about it." And I kind of asked my sensei about it, but he thought Taekwondo would be a better fit for me. He's like, "Well, that's what he's gonna say. You're paying him." I was like, "Well, true."
that makes
And
sense.
so then I went and tried out some jiu-jitsu and loved it. Made it like 6 months, but the place I was at wasn't the best situation or atmosphere.
Yeah.
And it was
They're out there.
Yeah, I walked in and he kind of chilled behind the desk, and another students ran the class basically, and we do kind of like our same situation. We warm up and then go over a little bit of something or another, and then just grapple, lav roll. Well, then I was like, I'm not really learning anything, and I went and asked him at the desk. I was like, what should I be doing? What? He's like, just protect yourself. I was like, what does that mean? He's like, just protect yourself.
Don't die, bro.
He's like, yeah, just fight back. And I was like, well, you're not showing us how to fight back. I don't know. I mean, these people obviously know something. I don't know anything. So I think I made it 6 months of just, I'm not a very big guy.
Yeah, we were gonna get into that. Like you're a tiny little sprite.
Yeah, I'm starting to fill out a little bit more now, getting older and
Get the man bod going.
beer and yeah. So
Chips and beer.
I was probably all of 140 pounds at the most, generously. So then, yeah, you just got these giants just wiping the mat with me, and I was just like, this it's not fun. I'm not learning anything. I'm getting hurt. I'm getting beat up every time. I'm paying money for this. I was like, the guy doesn't care to come down and show us anything. So I was like, why? I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna chill out with this. My buddy kept going, and then I started working at Weller, and my buddy that we did started with jujitsu with, he's like, hey, Chad Pomeroy works there at Weller with you. You should go talk to him. So I kind of asked around. He's like, hey, you know who Chad is? Who's Chad? You know, Chad Pomeroy. He actually worked in the building right next to mine. So I walked over and I'm walking up to him. This guy's all covered in tattoos. I was like,
he's huge.
Oh yeah. I was like, he's like grabbing transmissions and setting them around tables. I was like, what is this? I was like, hey,
it's all technique, bro.
Yeah, I was like, hey, what's up, man?
See how I leveraged the transmission onto this table from underneath the car?
I heard you do the jujitsu, and he's like, yeah, you know, I'm trying to start something. So I was like, cool. You care if I come check it out? I was like, I tried before, and he's like, you kind of look familiar, and I kind of told him where I was at, and he goes, I think I trained with you, and I was like, you know what? You kind of do look familiar. You might have trained with you too, but you were one of the big guys wiping the mat with me. So
he smears you across the room. It's fine.
So then that's where it started. Me and Chad kind of clicked from there, and we've been through some serious stuff. And for a while there, a lot of times it was just me and Chad, you know, because he's obviously got to start somewhere and grow. So, you know, he rented a place off of 76th and Division, little strip mall there, and we started, and this obviously didn't work out in that location. So then we were in between places. So we actually trained in his garage for a while.
Nice.
And then he got the worst gym I think he had. It was the Division gym. We had to put buckets out for every time it rained. Fine. But if it wasn't raining, it was a good place. I mean, but like I said, you got to start somewhere. And now we're looking at, you know, he's looking at buying his own facility. So I mean,
huge.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, I was telling these guys before we started that we do the beginner classes, and I filmed something the other day, and we have a long wall and then a short wall, and then it comes back around square, obviously, but the whole long wall is solid people, shoulder to shoulder, and then it makes the right-hand curve, and it goes all the way down the short wall, shoulder to shoulder people, and then a few of us that are kind of avoiding the beginners classes because there's not enough room. So, you know, I would rather let the beginner white belts, you know, learn the trap and rolls and, you know, the basics. And that's what they're there for.
Yep. Just kind of stay out of the way a little bit.
That's their class. We kind of walk around and be additional helpers at that point, but I'm going to have to start stepping away from the beginners class a little bit just because in the participating factor, just because there's so many people in such a small, and it's not a small spot, but there's just so many people in this area. So, yeah, he's looking at getting a new place and talking about having 2 mats.
Dang.
I guess he's got a cage and a whole bunch of weight equipment already, and
really?
he's just in a storage room waiting to be used. So
look at him moving up in the world.
We got the things and we got the stuff. So eventually,
just need the space.
You know, he's just got unfortunately, the market around here is ridiculous. So
around everywhere, man. It's
if you don't got the cash money, so it's just right now. It's just what we got works. It's great location. Right. So
the location is really good.
We're making it work, and once we find something else, we'll be on to bigger and better pastures, hopefully, and continue to keep growing.